Hello, welcome to Playback. My name is Nate.
My name is Brandon.
This is the show where two music producers sit down. We take turns picking records. Today, it was Brandon's turn to pick an album.
You're damn right.
Brandon, what did you pick for us today?
So, on this episode, if you heard the end of the last episode, which was Oasis, I announced I choose "Longhaired Redneck" by David Allan Coe.
Amazing.
Yes. And if you're listening to this, months, years later on down the line and just going down the list of episodes, you will not realize.
Yep.
Because it's been 5 seconds since the last episode. But for those of you listening in real time, yes, we've been marinating on David Allan Coe for like 3 months, I think. Yes.
Yeah, we took an unannounced extended break that,
Yes.
we reserve the right to do. And we reserve the right to abuse you as real listeners with long, extended, unannounced breaks in the podcast. But
we hurt the ones that we love. You know?
Yeah, we're back. Yeah. I literally just had health issues and just kind of was really burnt out from all that. I had thought it was a kidney stone, wound up being a bladder stone that was literally like the most incapacitating thing I've ever experienced. That was about 3 weeks. And then I got this, for anybody who bought our copies of the 15 remaining copies of the Christmas album this year, which sell out. Thank you guys for that. We love you. So we are now completely sold out of our Christmas album. We're going to have to hopefully get it repressed at some point. For those of you that got a copy of that, we made a new insert for that this year, which was me. That was the day after I got this weird growth on my scalp removed that was like, could have been a precancerous thing, and it was kind of scary and it was really nasty, and they had to basically like melon baller my fucking scalp out. It was, oh my God, really disgusting. I showed you the picture, right?
You forcibly showed it to me. You're like, dude, you want to? So yeah, I came over to Nate's house to for our photo shoot for these Polaroid photo. Oh no, not Polaroid photos. For like the little Christmas card thing that we were put inside the Christmas albums for people who bought it. So I come over to your house and his head is bandaged,
completely wrapped around my head.
And yeah, you were like, oh, do you want to see the picture of my wound, of my open head wound? And I'm like, no. You're like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely sure. I can picture, because it was from yesterday. It was like fresh. Like, dude, they melon ballered my head, man. You want to see? And he showed me anyway.
It was very graphic. Turns out your head is like way thicker before you get to your skull. Even like, I have no idea. Like, there's like an inch between like your skull, like what you think is your skull, but like your skull, like. There's some depth to that thing. I'm talking like up to the first knuckle on my fucking finger. Like, you could just stick in and not even hit skull. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, on yours, maybe. Did the doctor tell you that everyone's is like that, or did they make you feel special? Like, wow, I've never seen a cranium so small.
Oh my God.
Would you like a lollipop, Nate? You did a good job.
Yep. And you know where I put that lollipop? I had a spot right for it. In my skull hole, Brandon.
Oh, okay.
Whose skull is thick now, motherfucker? Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I just needed a little break. I was feeling a little overwhelmed by trying to get back into work over the holiday break after going through all that. So we just took some time off. But anyway, so back to the episode at hand. So Brandon, you picked
David Allan Coe.
Longhaired Redneck by David Allan Coe. So
yes,
what is Longhaired Redneck by David Allan Coe?
Longhaired Redneck by David Allan. So David Allan Coe is a country singer. So this is country music, and the main reason why I picked this is I wanted to broaden our horizons. I wanted to kind of go into a genre of music that we haven't talked about before. You know, we've been doing a lot of rock and roll, a little bit of soul, a whole lot of reggae, obviously. in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, hey, let's go into a zone of music that we won't naturally gravitate to, because you and me, but well, you might be a little bit more of a country guy than me, and I am virtually not a country guy at all in any way. I mean, it's not our background. So
yeah.
And yeah, just wanted to talk about some new styles. And so it was either this or black metal that this pick was going to be.
Well, now we know what February has in store for us, I guess.
Yes, yeah. I'm considering taking us into black metal, which is a really fun genre of music because it's actual Satan music.
Right.
Literally Satan metal, not just the trappings of Satan. So yeah, and I think David Allan Coe is a very interesting figure to kind of take the discussion into country music, or an interesting figure to use to get into talking about country music, because I think people from other parts of the country, we're from California, that we can have an oversimplified and kind of prejudiced view of the South and what it's like and what the people from the South are like. And the more that you learn about David Allan Coe, the more that you understand kind of the rich tapestry of the people in the South that they actually are, that people are this interesting and fascinating and nonconformist and artistic and not what you would expect. And people like that come from every part of the world, And so, okay, so I knew we wanted to do country, but it would have been too easy to just do like Johnny Cash or Willie Nelson.
Agreed.
Or Hank Williams. Because those artists are already listened to by non-country people.
Yeah. I just saw Willie Nelson for the first time a few months ago. It was an amazing show. Had a great time. And I had the thought as well to pick a Redheaded Stranger for this show.
That was the other album that I went between. It was either Longhaired Redneck or Redheaded Stranger. Yes.
And I kind of had the same thought. I was kind of like, well, we're probably just going to talk about how great Willie Nelson is. And that's it. And that's fine. That makes for a good show. But I think it was very wise of you to go in the David Allan Coe direction instead, because I love Willie Nelson. I love Johnny Cash.
Yes.
I love Merle Haggard. I love, all these guys from this scene. Yep. But David Allan Coe is a man on his own little island.
He's the most interesting one.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, well, I don't know. Maybe that's unfair to say, but he's extremely interesting and fascinating. And
I didn't hear a lie there. I think he's probably the most interesting one.
So David Allan Coe is a legend, but he's an outsider. He's an outsider from the mainstream of country music, definitely. But even within the subgenre of outlaw country, which is, excuse me, even within the subgenre of outlaw country, which is kind of not even kind of, this is the subgenre that we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah.
He's even an outsider within outlaw country. He's an outlaw of the outlaws.
Yeah.
And when you study him and what the other outlaw country artists were like, it sort of reveals that even outlaw country became a regimented mainstream kind of accepted thing,
right,
that you can't actually be an outlaw in. Like it became kind of commercial, and it became for show, just like everything else.
For a short window of time, they were the status quo.
Exactly.
They upended and replaced the kind of pop centric kind of Nashville strings kind of sound that arguably we're like kind of back in that sound now with country music. Like, it's not that sound again, but it's like it's a similar era where it's just overproduced, like
and it's made in a machine.
Yeah, and it's made in the machine. Yeah. Nashville has reverted. It has not progressed
Yes.
since this Outlaw scene. But even for a minute there in the 70s, the Outlaw guys, they were the new status quo. They were the new kings of country. And
Yes.
even after being kind of exalted to that kind of status, along with his peers, he wasn't really let in by them. Like they kind of, everybody kind of kept him at arm's length.
Yes. Yes, because David Allan Coe has a very outsized kind of personality that is very tough for a lot of people to deal with, and he's not the kind of guy that you want to bring with you to a party if you don't want to get embarrassed. If you want to, if you want to make a good impression on everyone, you don't want him associated with you. You know?
like we should say we are anthropologists, people. Okay.
Yeah.
Now when Dr. Grant is up there, is out in the field digging up dinosaur bones, does that mean he condones all the violence that the T-Rex committed that he found? No, he's purely an observer. Now, it doesn't make him a T-Rex, okay? So you're gonna read and hear about some things and some bad stuff that David Allan Coe has said throughout the years. Some choice language.
That's right.
Nate
is not a racist.
Thank you.
I should say, and neither am I. But that's what Nate's trying to say.
Yeah.
And I honestly, in everything that I've learned about David Allan Coe, and this might be like the early shout for my hot take for this episode, but from everything that I've learned about him, I don't think that David Allan Coe is a racist either.
I kind of don't think he is. Yeah. But he says very inflammatory shit.
He uses
inflammatory language,
words that it's supposed to be that only racists use those words and talk the way that he talks. He talks the way that racists talk.
Yes.
But I don't think that he is,
the way he explains it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm glad we're getting this all out at the top. The way he would explain it is, I'm paraphrasing a quote of his, but he basically said, it always pissed me off that you could go see a movie and an actor could say whatever, do whatever on screen, and it doesn't reflect poorly on that actor's reputation or personality or anything. And it's like, I'm also playing, a character to an extent in my music. And so I sing and say things in my songs that I don't doesn't necessarily, I think he's frustrated that he doesn't.
People don't give me that same artistic license.
Yeah. So I still would just disagree with him, even though that's an interesting point. I still would disagree with using language in the way that he does. But again, he's a very interesting guy.
It's so interesting. Yeah. And you also couple this fascinating personality with just his freaking ability.
Right.
And how amazing of a songwriter and singer and performer that he is,
I think that's part of what makes him so interesting, is that he is basically like he's like a disgusting roadside lot lizard trucker person, right? But is also one of the most some of the most beautiful, heart-wrenching, amazing, and thoughtful, hilarious, satirical.
Yes.
Like he has a Swiss Army knife of songwriting skills where he can just rattle off any kind of song, at will, basically. He's just immensely talented songwriter.
And his
he's kind of a weird low life guy.
Definitely. Yeah. And we'll get much more in depth about him and his life story and everything later on in the conversation. But yeah, I mean, one of the most important things to know about him to kind of understand where he's coming from and his background and why he is the way that he is that he spent his youth in reform schools and jails and prisons, right? Like basically from the time that he was about 9 years old to when he was like 29 years old, he was basically in jail, in and out of prison that entire time. And so yeah, we'll get more into that. But I feel though that a lot of country music doesn't like reach out and grab somebody by the ear who's not already a fan of country, you know? A lot of country music, and really good country music, is sort of you got to already be into it,
yeah,
to really hear the greatness in it.
Yeah.
And not very much of it can really like convert someone, you know?
I think the reason for that is like, to a layman, it's like with any genre, you know, we talk about this with reggae. I think country has a lot of the same issues to like a non-country or a non-reggae fan.
Mm-hmm.
Like those two genres share a lot of the same issues, which is like, to a layman, it all kind of sounds very samey.
Yes, right.
Like, and that's
if you're not in the country, it all sounds the same.
And that's because, I mean, think of we've talked so much about how reggae is produced and how it's made, and it's because it's like these types of music that come from these types of music factory environments, right? It's like they know how to manufacture a reggae song. It's like a science, you know, like they know how to fucking do it. And I would argue with country music in America in the 60s and 70s, it was even to like in a more extreme extent where it was like, dude, we're not even going to let you use your fucking band, dude. Like,
right.
You use our fucking band. You're recording here for our label. Like, you're using the fucking studio's band. Like that's how this works, you know?
Yep.
And they're better than your band. So
part of a machine.
Cry about it, you know?
And it's the same musicians on all the records.
Yeah.
Yeah. And right. So I feel that David Allan Coe possesses that same quality that people like Johnny Cash and like Hank Williams had, where their songs reach out and they can grab the ear of someone who is not into country, right? How many, the number of people who would describe themselves as fans of Johnny Cash, definitely more than 50% of them would probably say that they're not people who are fans of country.
Right. It's true. It's true.
Right. So David Allan Coe is not that big, but I think he's similar to that. Like a lot of people who aren't country people like get the appeal, and they hear his songs and they're like, damn, either I'm into that, I think it's good, or like that's hilarious. That's very, you know, like it's like flashy or interesting or funny in a way that you can get into it.
Yeah.
At times also.
Yeah. And I'll just say, for us, like Brandon and I were in a band together for a period that like, I think was a little David Allan Coe inspired. Like, I think it was, it's funny listening to this and looking back on it now and seeing how like, it's not like we were playing outlaw country, but like, man, we sure put on a lot of the, like we wore the shirts and we wore the cowboy hats. Like, I mean, we were getting there. Like we were getting there.
And we sort of played it with that punk rock ethos,
you
know, outlaw country. And we'll get into it more, but it really, I see a lot of parallels with punk and things like gangster rap, dude. Even, but
dude, it's almost like we do this podcast because we have a great rapport and we think the same way. And
you were thinking that too,
dude. Right. I literally, while I was listening to this, I was thinking about all I could think about was hip hop and punk while I was watching David Allan Coe shows. I was thinking,
yep,
we'll get into it, but
we'll get into it. So yeah, it's a good way to transition into me asking you our next thing that I'm supposed to ask you, which is, so I picked this album, you had never heard it before. What were your first impressions when you first listened to it?
Again, I just want to get out of the way. Like, I was sitting there listening to this today. We're recording on Martin Luther King Day. And I thought to myself, I shudder to think who else is listening to David Allan Coe all day today? Who else I'm sharing sharing this day with, spending Martin Luther King Day listening to David Allan Coe? I wonder.
mean, he's not like some like
He's not.
anti-black figure.
He's not.
I mean, he's just a white guy who said words and phrases that like white guys shouldn't say.
Yeah. All. I'm not gonna lie. His reputation absolutely preceded him with me. Like I knew about this. I knew more about how inflammatory he was than I knew that he was like a good singer. Like to me, in my impression of him before I listened to this was like does he literally just like sing about slurs and like dicks and balls and like pussies and vaginas and like is he just like the most crass asshole ever because he talks that way? That's how he
talks, and his reputation precedes him, like you said. That's what his reputation is.
Yeah,
that's how when people talk about him, they make him sound like that's all he sings about.
That's all he's about. Yeah. And you know, and certainly like there's an interview series that we watched to prepare for this show, where it is like I think the interviewer kind of steers him in those directions and like intentionally tries to like pull that out of him a lot.
Yes.
So even then, and that was one of the first things I checked out in prepping for this show. And I was just like, oh my God, dude, this motherfucker, like, is this really it? Like, this is what he's like about. But then you listen to his songs. And I guess the first thing I was struck by that I wasn't expecting was how intricate the music was. Like, because when you think of a guy who basically like I'm thinking like, this guy is basically like South Park, the song. And he kind of is, but then you think about it and it's like South Park songs are really complex and amazing. Like, they're great. Like,
right.
That's not even a bad comparison.
Of the crass songs from like Family Guy, they're all show tunes.
Yeah, they're like
with like full production.
Yeah.
Because things are funnier when you put more effort into a stupid thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I realized is you don't get to the level of like fame that he's at even if you are only that crass guy. I mean, it would have failed to launch completely, right?
Right.
It never would have gotten off the launch pad if that's truly all he was, right? I mean, to the extent that they were ignoring him at the time, he would have never been on the radio. They wouldn't have never pressed his records if that's truly all he was about, right? And, and the way that it comes through in his songs is he's just whip smart funny. So funny. Like, as a lot of people like him are, unfortunately, good or bad, a lot of times these people who are like very not PC, very not afraid to speak their mind or say what they think, unfortunately, they tend to be kind of funny sometimes.
Yeah, very often. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're
not. Sometimes
Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe, and they're not funny. But
true.
Yeah.
But
often they are. Yes.
But he is
like the South Park guys.
Yeah, like the South Park guys. He's very intelligent. I really loved the record. I really did. I struggled to find any there were definitely songs on there I liked way more than others. But there was no song on it that I like, spoiler alert, there's no song on it that I'm like, that was a dud, you know, like it's a great record.
Great record.
Yeah. It has a lot of cool 70s production stuff that I really enjoy that we'll talk about later in the episode. But like, yeah, overall, my impression of him improved after actually listening to his music, for sure. What about you? I can't remember if we said this during the show or not, but you told me before we started recording that like you also kind of were coming at this from zero.
Yeah.
Which
I knew
me.
Yeah, I knew his music from a couple like compilation CDs that I had of him, and I knew the song "Longhaired Redneck" because the song "Longhaired Redneck" is one of his most famous songs, if not possibly his most popular, like, signature song. And So I picked this one without knowing the rest of the record.
Oh wow.
Which is something else that I want to kind of start doing once in a while on this show, is picking one that I even have not listened to yet. You know,
and
something that might be like it's famous or it's notable or people hold it in high regard, but neither one of us has listened to it, and we just pick it and do it.
You just fucked my whole plan up for what I was going to pick at the end of this episode, because now I pick that one for me. Like, I have one in my brain that I'm like, I've never listened to it, but it's sounds like it would be amazing. I might pick it now.
Right,
which marks the third time I've changed my mind today on what album I'm going to pick next.
But yeah, so I had not heard the rest of this album, and I was surprised at how much earnest material is on it. I was expecting, like you, I was expecting what the profanity that he's famous for, and the sarcastic wit, I was expecting more of the songs to be just kind of like a sarcastic, like fuck you,
right,
to people, but the majority of the songs are just like a man expressing himself with no sarcasm, with no cynicism, with no anything. It's just a song,
and it's very like autobiographical too. Like, you get the sense that this could like double as like a memoir, like a David Allan Coe memoir. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because this is what his fourth album,
but first
album,
first album of all original material.
Exactly. This is the first time that he made an album where he wrote all the stuff. Yeah. And that is the outcome. That's what you get, is all this earnest stuff. I mean, obviously, however, there is still a song about a dancing bear in there. You know, there's still Longhaired Redneck, which is a perfect encapsulation of that wit and that fuck you, meta sarcasm stuff that he is famous for. You know, like, that song is one of the best examples of that. Right. But I mean, so and that's what the album opens with.
But it also still feels very earnest, though. It does,
right? It feels true.
Yeah,
it's not a character, someone else.
No,
it's
a slice of him for sure.
And it's a very interesting thing that he does, which is he writes so many songs that people would love to cover, but you can't, because you're not Dave. You have to be David Allan Coe in order to sing this.
Right.
Because in the lyrics, he's talking about being himself specifically.
Right.
And it makes no sense to sing it if you're not that guy. So, the album opens up with that. That's even the title of the album, Longhaired Redneck. So you're expecting this whole thing. And then, you know, the second track plays, when she's got me where she wants me, like, okay, you know, like damn, like the woman who just, you know, takes you over with her feminine power. Like, wow, okay, all right, that's some, you know, standard barroom country stuff. And then it gets to like Revenge and Texas Lullaby, and it's like, oh my God. I was not expecting that this album was going to have that kind of a zone.
Yeah, like Brett.
That it was going to go there.
Yeah,
to that place.
It's a very short album, 10 songs, I think like 28 minutes or something. It's not very long, but it's like,
yeah, all the songs are short.
Yeah, but it's great though. It's
28 minutes. Yes. Nate has like a sixth sense for how long LPs are and how long LPs should be, except for all the ways in which you're wrong about physical graffiti, but we don't need to go there again. So this came out in 1976, okay? In 1976, in the context of country music, this was the pinnacle of the popularity of a subgenre of it called outlaw country. And why outlaw country was important is because it was like country music's version of something that was happening like across all of American artistic culture in the 70s. Think about movies, American movies, right? The 70s is the time when the studio system is over.
Studio system is falling apart, and auteur, rebellious, young upstarts, independent upstarts take over.
Yes.
You're right.
Because before this, the way that movies were made was by studios using all their infrastructure.
By committee.
Right. By committee. There's a big company, and they have a stable of directors and cinematographers and
even actors, even just actors on standby. Like if you're a Warner Brothers actor, you're in Warner Brothers movies, and that's it. Same goes for Paramount, whatever.
Right. You get a monthly, weekly paycheck from Warner Brothers. You're an employee of Warner Brothers, and you just hang out and you go act in their movies. You show up to work every day. You drive to the Warner Brothers buildings where they make their stuff with all their cameras and sets and things that they own, and you just be in whatever movie they tell you to be in that day.
And that's part of the appeal and the selling point of that company is like, look at this stable of like, look at this roster of artists we have or whatever, like, yeah.
So that stuff, movies being made that way started to end and started to deteriorate across the 60s and into the 70s. And so during this time, early to mid 70s, this is happening in movies. I think a similar sort of phenomenon is happening in TV, and it's also happening in music. And so in country music, all through the 40s, 50s, and 60s, country music was made in a very similar way to that Warner Brothers thing that we were talking about. And so outlaw country was a bunch of artists rejecting that system, because something that came along with that system was what it ended up being, that there's like a big gatekeeper effect. You can't get any work. You can't get your songs heard or recorded or played on the radio unless you adhere to what's expected of you and how you dress, how you act, and what kind of a public persona that you have, because this is happening. The society around it is kind of like a traditional conservative type of a society, and like it doesn't look good if you don't have the right
look,
the right look and the right image.
Yeah.
You gotta have some kind of wholesomeness, some kind of paying respect to the traditions of the greats who came before you and everything. You gotta look the part.
Yeah.
Otherwise you won't get any work. And so this was the end of that.
And I think the reason it started to end too is because and this happened in the movie system as well, is like the nature of a system like that is it almost becomes like a snake eating its own tail thing. It starts to regurgitate itself, and it becomes so there's so much sameness going on that it becomes really, really stale really fast.
Yes.
Like it has this kind of shit has a shelf life, like you can't do it forever, these kinds of systems. Like, even though they're kind of amazing and intricate and there's all these moving parts and it's kind of fascinating, the nature of making things by committee to that level is, it's always going to come down to the bottom line, because it needs to make money, or else this whole thing doesn't work. This house of cards will fall apart, and people aren't going to take risks when money's on the line, right? People do the safe thing, when money's on.
It had a shelf life.
Yeah.
And it stopped being appealing to audiences. Same thing that happened with the movies. It's not just that the artists and the people who make the art getting sick and tired with the system and moving on, but the audiences did too. So it actually was what was financially viable to sell tickets and to sell records is to pivot and start recording and putting out this kind of art instead, because that's what people were not sick of. It was fresh and interesting and what they wanted to consume. So, you know, the same thing happened in the Jamaican music industry. You know, they like the love songs and kind of more traditional conservative type content of ska and rock steady and early reggae got kind of stale. And so the counterculture thing of the Rasta movement came in, which was edgy. And then that snake ate its tail. And then there was a new gatekeeping thing of you have to be Rasta, otherwise you can't get any work. And people got sick and tired of that. And then, you know, eventually now dancehall comes in. And finally, these songs are not, the lyrics aren't from the Bible. The lyrics are about selling drugs and shit and like having sex in clubs and stuff, because it's fresh.
It's almost amazing that this process ever even happened with movies because of how hard it is to make a movie. Like with music is so much more nimble of an art form where it's like, dude, if I want to make a movie, I need like, there's so much fucking shit you need.
Hundreds of people. Yeah, dude.
Hundreds of
people. You do not understand how big of an undertaking making a movie is. Yes,
probably millions of dollars. And then let's say you do that, like you need to get it distributed. Like it's not, you know, but like with a band or music, it's like, dude, I can write a song and I can go play it in front of people tonight. I could find a place to go play that song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So music has a way of like, you know, when the audience is tired of this kind of movie, maybe they go stop seeing new movies. Maybe they try to go see older movies, but like there's not really the choice to go see something new that is independent unless that breaks through, right? But with music, it's like, dude, audiences always have the availability of seeing independent music, especially back then. So it's like you're talking about this audience of you know, country fans who at the time, you know, they're kind of being force fed a lot of like, I'd compare it to like soft rock. Like it's like real boring, bland shit at this point. Like the Nashville machine is like kind of forcing on to the wider country audience. Like it can be really like schmaltzy, chintzy, kind of not enjoyable stuff. And then these same audience members, they could go to their local honky tonk and it is like people like David Allan Coe are playing and they're singing about shit that is like happening around them in the bar, right? It's like reflective of their right now, their shared experience they're having like in the bar. So it's like this group of fans, I think, was primed for this kind of independent breakout from this scene, you know?
Yeah, right. It's a rejection of what's called the Nashville sound with capital letters, right? And something that's epitomized by the Grand Ole Opry, which is, you know, like it's pageantry.
Yeah.
And it's analogous to like old Hollywood, and where this is basically like royal families. Yeah.
It's literally on Broadway in Nashville. That's the street that it's on. And I would compare it to, it is like Broadway in New York City. It is like Tin Pan Alley or something, you know, like it's old timey stuff for them.
So here come these artists, guys like Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard, Chris Christopherson, and, you know, other artists like that. And they're bringing now counterculture into it. They're bringing in long hair, not wearing a suit with a nice haircut.
Right.
You know, like
not wearing rhinestones, not doing the rhinestone thing anymore, even though David Allan Coe kind of did, but
there's the whole thing about David Allan Coe sort of inventing the name the Rhinestone Cowboy, which we can get into, but that's what made him an outsider of the outsider, because the others didn't do that, right? The outlaw country look was supposed to be more like wearing like fringes and denim and like looking kind of more like a hippie, because they would they would sing about doing drugs openly. See, and this is the thing, is all the Nashville sound people, they did drugs.
Yeah.
But they didn't talk about it.
Right.
They acted like these are all people who lived hard lives and cheated on their spouses and got divorced and did drugs and gambled all their money away and all this stuff, but they acted like they didn't. Right? You're supposed to keep up this appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Opry, the Grand Ole Opry is literally like it's a church. There's pews in there and shit. Like it is these are church going folk.
Yes.
That go to this shit.
So you're supposed to act like you don't do drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. When now these new guys come in and that is the aesthetic. And like they associate with like counterculture type people in the early 70s, you know, like it's they hang out with hippies and beatniks and people like this, you know, which is like very gauche.
Yeah.
Not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So oh, and also too, and possibly even more importantly than the appearance change is the musical change. Because the Nashville sound is also was very rigid in what an artist could produce musically, sonically. There is no other choice other than if you want to record, if you want to sing songs, they got to be these kind. And it's got to have this kind of production and be this style, right?
The established traditions are like a hard line.
Yes.
Like for that scene, like
exactly. So outlaw country allowed these artists to play country styles that were considered like kind of old, like from a previous generation, like bring the banjos back, play like country styles that are from like the 1890s and from like the 1900s and the 19-teens and shit, and mix in like rock and roll a little bit into their music, or do like what David Allan Coe does on this album. I mean, there's Freeborn Rambling Man, which is just straight up a friggin' like Allman Brothers thing.
It's literally Rambling Man.
Yeah, it's Rambling Man. And then a bunch of songs where there's no drums.
Yep.
And go into some that are just like, you know, friggin' like bluegrass shit at times.
Man,
they could do that. They could get more creative with the actual form of their product, of their art, you know?
Yeah. I watched a documentary on David Allan Coe, and there was a moment where in the movie, it takes place in the mid-70s when they filmed it. And in the movie, you meet David Allan Coe's mother, who
I watched that movie today, actually.
Yeah. So and she's talking about how, you know, she kind of helped him with his songwriting early on and like all this. The thing I was struck by with her is I'm like, oh my God, she's so like Carter family. Like this woman is like she was a Carter family fan, like absolutely, like in the 20s and 30s, like she, that was what she brought to his music. And you hear it and is that more turn of the century, like old timey American folk. Like true American folk music is like in this guy's stuff. It's not just the country.
Exactly. And that's the type of like musical revolution that these outlaw country artists wanted to do. They wanted to do more like the modern day equivalent would be like if you could only do straight ahead pop like Sabrina Carpenter or something, you know what I mean? And you can't get anything else made. You can't do something more musically creative than that. You know, so here's a quote. It's quote time. Quote corner. David Allan Coe. He said, "I didn't really care for." Oh, by the way, he had a more when he was young. He had more of a because he's from Ohio,
right?
Which certain parts of Ohio are, you know, are basically the South or part of the South, kind of. But
people in Ohio that fly the rebel flag, though, are like the funniest people alive to me.
Yes, yeah, yeah. There's multiple Ohios.
Yeah,
much like California. Yeah. But his background, he didn't grow up steeped in country music,
Right.
right? Before his mom started introducing it to him and before he took an interest in it. So what he says is, I didn't really care for some of the country music until people like Chris Christopherson and some of these people started writing songs. They had a little more to say than just, oh baby, I miss you, or whatever. I don't do anything halfway. Once I got into country music, I went back and researched it and learned everything there was to know about it. I could do impersonations of Roy Acuff, Ernest Tubb, Hank Snow, Marty Robbins, just about anybody, which is something that he used to do in his live show, is just go through and do like spot on impressions of other famous historical country singers. And then he says, I knew just about all there was to know about country music. So that's something that I learned in researching this for this episode that I never knew about outlaw country, is that it's actually more in touch with traditional country music,
Original country,
than the Nashville sound is.
Absolutely.
I think it's really interesting.
Like, because for me, like my kind of journey to country music was like, dude, when I was like 12, 13, I heard Hank Williams for the first time, and I didn't contextualize him as country. I just heard song after song after song of like every single song that man wrote was like the greatest song I'd ever heard. Like his catalog is one of the most unbelievable songwriting catalogs that exists. And I don't think he gets the credit he deserves in this day and age for being.
He has one of the highest batting averages for a songwriter that there is in terms of percentage of quality.
Percentage of like perfect songs. Yeah. Like he's unbelievable. And he died at 29. Like he was like,
wow,
dude, he was unbelievable. Right. And, that was always kind of my thing with country music was that. And then when I lived in Nashville, I got exposed to, like a lot of the Western swing stuff from that time period as well, like Bob Wills and like literally Ernest Tubbs. Like he kind of does these cheeky Ernest Tubb, like on Longhaired Redneck song when he goes, I can sing all them songs from Texas. He's doing Ernest Tubb.
It's an impersonation.
He's making fun of Ernest Tubb. Yeah, Ernest Tubb is amazing. Like he's like one of the best. But that you know what I compare it to? It's outlaw country is doing OG country and reinterpreting it and recontextualizing it in the exact same way that punk was
doing it at Punk Edge. Thank you for bringing it to punk. Yes.
Doing it the exact same way that punk took fucking Elvis Presley and Chuck Berry and like, updated it in the 70s. Like it's the same. I don't want to use the word regurgitation because that sounds like a negative connotation, but it's like, it's a reinterpolation, I guess.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's a new iteration of it.
Yeah.
Because like we've talked about on the show before, every artistic movement is a direct reaction to the previous one.
Yeah.
Right. So punk, at least, and I can speak more and I was going to say more specifically in America, but in England too, it's a reaction to that mid and late 70s, like
fucking
really
dinosaurs, dude. Like get out of the way.
Yeah. Like Journey and Boston and Supertramp and stuff like that. And Pink Floyd. Yeah. Very Steely Dan, like very carefully crafted stuff, and just tearing the walls down and
starting back at the foundation.
Right. Starting over again, reaching back to a style that predated what was currently popular. Oh, and disco, a reaction to disco too. And gangster rap in the early 90s being a rejection of, you got friggin' Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and stuff like that.
Fucking Vanilla Ice.
My name is Brandon and I'm here to say, and like taking the music musically getting in touch with the original form of hip hop, which is happening on street corners while people are spinning around on cardboard boxes and shit in Brooklyn and everything.
And it's like the the like verbal jousting of like rapping, like
yeah,
the acrobatics
like
of like rapping, like yeah.
And in both cases also bringing in a rebellious edge, bringing in an ingredient of fuck you, an ingredient of intentionally being dangerous.
I'm amazed that you arrived at punk and hip hop as well, because I also had that exact same like thought
but
process.
Specifically gangster rap though, not all hip hop.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Because for me, I was thinking of like Wu-Tang and shit. Like I was just thinking of like hip hop that I really love. And for me, yes, gangster rap, but I think you could kind of.
I mean, Wu-Tang is part of gangster rap, isn't it?
Yeah, they are. But
Aren't
like,
they?
I think you could kind of extend it out a little bit, only because the reason my brain went to punk and hip hop was like I was watching a live David Allan Coe show, right? And I see these, 5-6 guys all on stage, and they're playing, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, the thing that I'm latching onto here is authenticity, right? That is the thing that the outlaw country scene has, that punk has, that reggae in the 70s had, that gangster rap in the 90s had. They all share a common trait, and it's really simple. It's just authenticity, right? And it's just how authenticity expresses itself regionally at certain periods of time.
Yep.
That is all it is.
Each one is from a different culture.
Yeah. Yeah. But they all have that same, like I was watching David Allan Coe and his band, and I'm like, this is Sex Pistols, dude. This is what.
Yeah. Right. I kept thinking Johnny Rotten in my mind.
This is fucking Sex Pistols. Like this is a Wu-Tang show, dude. Like this is they seem so different, but they're really, really not. When you boil it down, these are real artists on stage playing music for a crowd of people. And it's just the only difference is the region and the time period. But it is like they have so much more in common than like anything that makes them different. I in my opinion.
Exactly. It's the exact same phenomenon. But the other ingredient of it too is it's the transgressiveness that is in each one of those movements, right? And it eventually became the norm.
Yep.
And it eventually became a new inauthentic thing to mimic and to ape, because that's what's accepted. And that's what you need to do to make records now, right?
Yeah.
In all the cases that happened to punk, it got real popular, and then you got a bunch of people who are not actually punks playing what appears to be punk and making a shitload of money. That's what happened with gangster rap.
Yep.
A bunch of dudes who are not gangsters making a shitload of money off of it, selling records to white kids. And that same exact thing happened to outlaw country. And David Allan Coe ended up kind of getting edged out in a way because he was actually
an outlaw.
He was actually an outlaw.
Like, and when we say that, we mean he was a member of a motorcycle gang called the Outlaws.
Yes. Who is what's known as a 1%er.
Yeah.
Biker gang.
Yeah.
1% meaning... there's a quote. Do you know what the 1%er thing is?
I've heard that, but I don't know what that means.
Okay. So if you're ever hanging out somewhere in America and you see somebody wearing like a motorcycle club leather jacket with their patches.
Pretty common, actually.
It's pretty common. And you generally don't need to be afraid of these people.
Yeah.
Now, if you see one of the patches that they're wearing is a patch that says 1%, should just kind of avoid this person. Just give them a wide berth, because it's based on a quote that was by some guy that was like the president of like a motorcycle manufacturers association or something. And he said 99% of all motorcycle club members in America are law-abiding citizens.
So 1% patch is like, I sell drugs I sell drugs to the community.
Exactly. I sell drugs in the community. Right. We are proudly the 1% of bikers that this guy was talking about who are not law-abiding citizens. We are actually a drug cartel, machine gun selling, prostitution ring running.
We make bathtub meth. We make bathtub meth, and we are probably pimps.
We're literally a criminal syndicate.
We traffic women and
So David Allan Coe was in one of those gangs. And legend has it that he first, was institutionalized when he was 9 years old. And his own parents, or at least his own father, took him down there and put him in because he couldn't handle him or whatever.
I can only imagine what a 9-year-old David Allan Coe was. I mean, oh, wow.
So, he went in at 9 years old, and according to him, just because he's surrounded by the other boys who are in these facilities, that's how he ends up becoming an outlaw. That's like hanging out with boys who are a couple years older than him, who then go steal cars and, come on, David, you're coming with us. And like he got, included in this troublemaker lifestyle.
Yeah.
From the other boys who are in there, and before you know it, he's doing real crimes and doing real prison time as an adult.
Yeah. And it's like one of those classic, like, sad kind of effects of being in the prison system is like, you hear him talk about prison where he's like, I would get out of prison occasionally, and like, I don't know how to exist in society. I'm more comfortable in prison. Like, people like me there. People know my songs. I sing songs around the prison or whatever. And like, he's like he has a bunch of friends there. Like, people respect him there. And then he goes out into the world and he's just some piece of shit. I mean, that's how we treat these people when they get out. So it's like he was inclined to like, what is this called? Like recidivism. It's like he's like inclined to like, go back in.
Yeah, right. He was happy to come back.
Yeah.
But now, it should be said that David Allan Coe is a very unreliable narrator.
That's true. What is your take? Because like, I feel like we're going to start getting into like the myths of David Allan Coe, right?
Right. And there are many.
There are many. Biggest one being, I think you're about to say it, or should I say it?
That he was on death row.
He claims, allegedly, that he killed someone in prison. Is that why he was on death row?
That's what he says.
That's what he says.
He says that one day, someone was about to rape him at knife point in prison, and so he injured this person to the point of killing them, and for that he was put on death row. And then at one point
he's even told that story. Like, at one point he says it was like a rape situation, and then I've heard him tell it a different way where he said the guy was just trying to get him to suck his dick.
Yeah, right.
He's told it multiple ways.
I mean, that
could be both.
That is rape, but
it is. I know. Yeah. I'm not saying it's not rape, but I'm saying the way he's told it has, like, the details changed. Like he said, one way, this way, and then I killed him. And I heard him tell the story years later where he's like, this is what happened, and then I killed him. I'm like, this is
one of many of his stories that the details change, including the circumstances of how he originally ended up in an institution when he was 9 years old, or was it 10 years old, like he says sometimes, or was it 8 years old, like he says sometimes, and the circumstances by which he came to be there. Was he abandoned and dropped off by his parents, never to see him again, which is what it makes it sound like sometimes, but then that's clearly not the case when you see other evidence.
And you see his mom is like so loving and like believes in him, and like bought him his guitar when he was a kid, and like clearly like supported him like so much. Like,
so there is no evidence. There's no official evidence that he ever killed anyone while he was in prison, and there's no official evidence that there's no record of him ever being on death row.
Yeah, the Bureau of Prisons like disputes his account. They're like, there's
right, yeah,
no,
they,
he did.
yeah, nuh-uh. Yeah, the letter from like the penitentiary supervisor or whatever says that the year when he got out of prison, 1968, was the end of a 5-year sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So, how do you know?
Right. And does it matter?
It doesn't really matter. The thing to be learned from it is that he's that kind of a guy.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story. You know, it's just, and it's like, I think early on in his career, like with the whole, like, what did he call himself? The mysterious rhinestone cowboy, right? Like, he was doing a callback to a prior country singer. I'm totally gonna forget who he's super famous, I'm sure, but like I'm not remembering who the country singer.
Well, apparently the super famous guy who wrote the song "The Rhinestone Cowboy," that song came out and was written after David Allan Coe was the mysterious rhinestone cowboy.
Right. But he would wear,
but there was somebody else who did it before him
in like the 30s. There was a guy who wore a mask and was a mysterious rhinestone cowboy. That was like his shtick. So then David Allan Coe does it years later, and he wore a mask, and supposedly it was his dad told him, like, you know, he was referencing that country artist, and he said, you know, the reason that the rhinestone cowboy, you know, do you know how the rhinestone cowboy goes into town? Is he's the rhinestone cowboy on stage, and he goes into town without his mask, and then a bunch of people don't fuck with him all day long. You know, he doesn't have to deal with the trappings of fame. So early on in his career, you know, he was willing to participate to that extent in his own myth making, where he's like, I'm going to wear a mask and call myself the mysterious rhinestone cowboy.
Yeah, it's literally be a character.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, he drops that shtick, but it's like he did not drop being a character, I don't think. I think, like, he right. said, I'm going to paraphrase a quote in one of the documentaries or interviews I watched of him, and he was like, I am heavily invested in David Allan Coe. David Allan Coe pays my rent. David Allan Coe like provides me like a nice way of life. Like David Allan Coe is like, when he talks about himself in a third character, he's talking about the character of David Allan Coe. Even though, much like I don't know, like Larry David, like it's like, is Larry David on Curb that much different from Larry David in real life? I don't think so. Like, but there is a distinction.
Right. And that's what makes it so interesting.
Yeah.
Like real Larry David has children.
Yeah.
Larry David in Curb Your Enthusiasm can't have children. That probably like breaks the entire character.
Yeah. And probably that character hates kids.
Exactly.
Would never want
He is the type of person who would never have children. Yeah. However, the real guy does. So it's like that pops that balloon. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a similar type of a thing. and like how you said, you know, he's the type of a guy who would never let the truth get in front of a good story, and you can never know. You know who he reminds me of, who we've talked about before, is Lee Scratch Perry.
Sure. Yeah.
Think about the similarities, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
The unreliable narrator of his own background.
Yeah.
This Tommy Wiseau type. You never really know the truth of this guy's life history. He decorates himself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hanging himself with different colors and adornments all over his physical body.
Braids his beard, braids his hair.
Yep.
Beads and
jewelry. Yep. He got his start by writing songs that other singers sang.
Yep.
And made them famous.
Yep.
Right? It's true for both of them.
Yep. And was resentful of that fact.
Resentful of it.
Very bitter about, bitter and outwardly bitter, and like lashed out at his peers, would often call out his peers in song, much like Lee Scratch Perry did.
Yep, they both did that. And they would both later attempt to reclaim those songs and record their own versions of them multiple times. and go around telling people in interviews and on stage, pointing out that they wrote them and trying to reclaim them. They both did that. They both had these, singularly intense musical sound and personal beliefs that alienated them from their scene, from their peers.
Yep. And they both came out of machines, industry, churning machines.
Right. And spearheaded the movement to dismantle those studio machines that they came out of.
Yeah.
And they're both associated with the phaser effect.
Yeah. Okay.
Also,
I'm jealous you got to it first. I'm jealous you got to. I feel like we should save that for when we talk about the actual.
Yeah. We will. Yeah, we'll talk more about the phaser effect.
That's a really good poll, though.
But right?
Yeah, that's like
crazy. The similarities between these two guys.
So yeah, I mean, we were just talking about how impossibly hard it is to sum this guy up, and we're not really gonna try. Like he's fascinating. He's still alive. He's been around forever. Like you should just do some reading. Look up David Allan Coe. Try not to let his inflammatory statements reflect on us or our show. But I think you'll agree
with us. Is not a racist.
Yeah. The way I would describe him in modern parlance, actually, because I think you're right, he's not a racist.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
I don't think he is either. He is what they would call nowadays dark woke.
Dark woke. Right. Yeah. And like the way that he describes it is he's like, look, I grew up in prison.
Yeah.
And all people of all races are together in prison. And guess how we talk to each other?
Yeah.
Guess what we call each other?
And
he's like, and these people are of every race. Some of them were my enemies.
Yeah.
Some of them were my friends. Some of them, some of them were my brothers for the rest of my life, of all races, of every background. And guess what we call each other? Guess how I've been talking since I was 9 years old. You know what I mean?
I think the best encapsulation of his dark wokeness is in the song "Fuck Anita Bryant," which is not on this album.
I'm so happy you're bringing this up.
Not on this album.
Keep going.
And I can't actually do a lyrical analysis, or have to delete the episode. But that is listener, go look up the song "Fuck Anita Bryant." Okay, if you don't know who Anita Bryant is, she was a dumb bitch from back in the 70s. There's a great reason why he's singing the song "Fuck Anita Bryant." She was a fellow singer, right? She's a country singer, or was she a politician? I'm forgetting now.
I believe she ended up being both. She at first was either an actress or a singer or both. She certainly started out being an entertainer and like a very like mainstream and popular and very famous, successful entertainer.
Probably something like the Ann Coulter of her day, like the flagship, I hate gay people person.
Well, that's what she ended up being.
Right.
So first she was like America's sweetheart.
Yeah.
Just an actress or singer that everybody loved. Then after she kind of retired from doing that, she got active in politics and started actual mothers organizations to try to systematically eradicate homosexuality, specifically anti-homosexual rhetoric is what she pushed. And in such a saccharine, bake sale aesthetic to it, you know? And is very insidious. And so so David Allan Coe wrote his song "Fuck Anita Bryant," and the language and the way in which he expresses why she's such an asshole is using all of the things that like you're not supposed to say.
Yeah, he's using the F slur to describe homosexuals,
to stand up for homosexuals' human rights.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Their right to exist and to be left. And what is it? Life, something in the pursuit of happiness. What is it?
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So he is like a dark woke warrior in that sense. Like,
who was born in the 30s.
Yeah. And mind you, had sex with many men. Like, I had plenty of sexual encounters with men himself.
Okay.
But in the prison sense, not.
Can you please link in the description the links to those interviews?
Absolutely.
With him, where he's talking about just like trying to like express like
his sexuality.
His sexuality and his relationship to women, and explaining why only now later in his life is he able to live around women, and why all of the women that he finds himself sexually attracted to all have small breasts, because when he grew up in prison, he went through puberty and through that entire sexual awakening part of his life, he was only surrounded by other boys and men, and all of his like first emotional and sexual experiences involved other boys and men, and he is a heterosexual person who's experiencing all of this, and like what that ended up doing to his development in it's so fascinating.
It is. Yeah.
And just the like the straight honesty and forthcomingness that he speaks about it with is so fascinating.
Right. And that is how he approaches everything. Like that is why he talks the way he talks. I think you're right. I can't speak for him nowadays, but at least at this period, like it's not coming from like a hateful place. Like, at this point he's almost 90 years old. It's like, who knows? But like, he's at least,
I think he's 83. I think
86 actually.
Oh shit. Okay.
But also, can we talk about the fact that he's like a polygamist Mormon?
Yes.
I'm like, because like that part.
Is he actually a Mormon?
Yeah. He has multiple wives. He has
I knew about the polygamy thing.
Yeah, he claims he was a Mormon, which like, okay. All right. I don't talk about this a lot, but I was raised Mormon, so I have a very unique, my own history past with that. For me, it's not like a huge deal. Like I left the faith when I was very, very young, but like, and it stopped being like a part of my life. I've been not a Mormon for longer than I ever was a Mormon at this point. So it's not like a huge deal to me, but like, I'm still so fascinated anytime I come across anybody who's a famous Mormon, right? Because like they're
it's not every day that you hear about a famous Mormon.
Yeah.
It's like Ken Jennings and Jennings. And
but to me, like, so I wish I had looked more into that, because it is particularly interesting to me. But like, I get the sense he's possibly just kind of cosplaying his faith in order to have 6 wives. Like, I think that's all that was to me. But he does claim that he's Mormon. He does claim that.
Yeah, I also...
It seems like something a scumbag guy would do is just be like, I can have 6 wives. I'm Mormon.
Yeah. And his basis for being Mormon is like, yeah, a friend of mine lent me the book whose name I can't remember what it's
Joseph
called.
Smith.
What's the name of the?
Oh, the Book of Mormon.
Oh, yeah, of course. Somebody, my friend lent me the Book of Mormon. I leafed through it. I thought it was kind of interesting. I said, yeah, I'm Mormon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am hereby Mormon.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that seems like something he would do. I don't know.
You said something earlier today, which was just that, like, I think we are still failing to like fully encapsulate the dude, but he's really like, he is like American truck stop culture in like the seediest, most rough around the edges sense. Like he embodies that to a T. Like if you've ever done a road trip across the United States, and you've stopped at a gas station in the middle of the night and you're just like, I need to go. I need to keep driving.
Like, I can't stop here.
Yeah, can't stop here. It is.
Well, people like us can't stop.
People like us can't. Yeah.
No, he really is. And
like, dude had a CB radio in his bus and would like talk to truckers.
Right. He knows CB radio trucker lingo.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know what that is, Google that. CB radio, like it's a whole insular thing that you have to know that culture to even be able to talk on the radio. He knew it. He was an artist of and for these outsider people who are very numerous, by the way.
Yeah, like
this is it's a whole culture. It's a whole, like, people with their own identity and everything, and it's really just like mainstream culture just really leaves these people out because they're poor, basically.
Yeah, and, it's like art does not discriminate in the crevices that it decides to flourish. It doesn't. Art will flourish anywhere. And I think we have a tendency, probably specifically as Californians, but like maybe America at large kind of thinks, and well, maybe not America, but the world at large would look at this subculture of America and they would think it is probably a very artless group of people, artless space, artless aspect of America. But like, dude,
they wouldn't believe that a very gifted artist would come from that community
and flourish from a community like this, and flourish from a background like this. Like,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's what I was speaking to in the beginning. I think that people who aren't from the South are generally friggin' racist to people from the South. We really oversimplify and have a very prejudiced view of them.
I mean, it certainly goes both ways. I mean, people from the South do not like California, or do not like the coastal types.
Well, in my opinion, I think that is part of the prejudice that we have about them.
Probably
is we think that they think that.
Yeah,
it's and we definitely assume that they think that.
I think it's shades of gray. I'm sure there's plenty of people that really do feel that way, and there's plenty of people we assume feel that way that certainly don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm from here, and like, I never thought in a billion years like I could stand living in a place like Nashville, and I loved it. I thought it was a fucking wonderful place. Mind you, it's a little blue oasis in the middle of a very deep red state, but like,
yeah, it's a California colony.
Yeah,
at this point.
Yeah,
but it was less so when you moved there. But he comes from this little understood and much maligned group of people, but he had a way of expressing his own life experience in a way that anybody can understand what he's talking about, and it can tap into your own version of that. You can find yourself in what he's singing about, even though what he's singing about is from such a specific life experience. He's singing about being from prison and shit, but like, you get like the song Revenge, which we'll get into that.
The production of the record. So you brought up my main production note already.
The phaser.
Which is the phaser.
Yes.
Which I was like gleefully surprised to hear an acoustic phaser guitar when I started listening to this album. I love it.
There's the question. Who plays an acoustic guitar with a phaser effect on it?
I couldn't name anybody else. Okay, look, this is the 70s, and like the phaser was everywhere. Like,
yeah,
you know, I mean, it's like Bowie, obviously Lee Perry. We talk about all the glam guys did it. You know, Mick Ronson, even Bob Dylan. His Rolling Thunder Review tour has like if you listen to the live recordings from that tour, it's like super phasery. It's like phaser is like a very 70s thing. But even with that, I was not expecting it at all on this record. Yeah. And the way that it and by the way, I bring up all those artists who are associated with phasers, whatever. None of them do acoustic guitar phaser, I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Is who puts it on an acoustic guitar like this, especially when it's the main accompaniment,
right?
To in the song. And what we're talking about, by the way, if you don't know what we mean by the phaser, if you just listen to the first couple seconds of Revenge or Texas Lullaby, that swooshy thing that is on his guitar, that's the phaser. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and it colors the whole entire album in a beautiful way that I love. Like phaser for me is like one of the most like satisfying textures in popular music, like when the Beatles put it on a drum set, or God, all the artists I just listed, like it is one of my very, very I use it in tons of our productions. We throw phaser on fucking everything sometimes.
The way that the phaser is deployed in basically all other professionally made and released music is in a much more judicious and kind of like a smoother way, a smoother presentation of it, you know?
Yeah.
The way that he uses it on this record, and this is like his standard sound, by the way. This was his guitar sound live on other albums. The way that he uses it, the only other place that I've ever heard it is in like fucking garage bands.
Yeah.
He uses phaser on his guitar like how a 15-year-old kid who's playing with his buddies in his garage uses phaser on a guitar.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
I agree.
And it's so interesting.
It's like really over the top, really like it's like a fast swoop.
Yeah, the greedy, it's turned really up to a point of like, dude, turn it down.
Yeah, yeah. It's like super like the
it's corny like that.
The mix of it, the mix of it too, like the wet, dry mix of it is like 100%. Like it's fully wet acoustic phaser to the point where like I knew it was acoustic guitar especially because I'd heard a lot of his live stuff, but like it was so phasered out that I'm like, is it acoustic guitar? But I'm certain it is because that's his thing.
It is. It definitely is.
But yeah, it is like so colored by phaser that it is like its own sound. It doesn't sound like an acoustic and it doesn't really sound like an electric. It's like it's a new texture. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I mean it's also who's the other there's another outlaw country artist who used the phaser too. It's not just him. It's was it Waylon Jennings. But I'm 99% sure he was doing it on an electric guitar though, right? And not used in this, but it's sort of like like an homage to a contemporary artist, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like his version of what Waylon does, because the phaser actually is like a very famous part of Waylon's sound. Yeah. But again, the particular way in which he's doing it is such like a DIY texture. It's very cheap and inelegant the way that it's deployed, but it sounds like intentionally so, because it gives it that quality. It establishes it as this is just a guy and his guitar.
Yeah.
This is such a fundamental break from that Nashville sound.
Yeah.
This is the opposite of polished. He's bringing garage band sound into your living room, you know?
The other interesting thing about the production, I'm curious what you think about this. So like we kind of right before we started recording, we looked up where this was recorded, and it was recorded at Columbia Studios, Studio A in Nashville. And it's kind of a really big room. It's like a huge room.
Interesting.
Like, so there's like an interesting thing happening on this, which is like, in some aspects of the album, it has that like very close mic'd, dynamic mic, like 70s kind of sound, which I love. I that's like one of my favorite aspects of like 70s recording is like that's
a Nate sound.
Yeah, that super up close, dry, like kind of dead sound. I really like that. And you could hear that in a lot of the way they approached like miking stuff, it kind of sounds like that might be how they did it, but they recorded it in like a huge room, so the album actually does sound kind of big and not boxy. Not boxy. It's like it sounds like it's in a big room.
You can hear the space.
Yeah,
that's interesting. That now you saying that, it makes me wonder if that reverb that I can hear on there is added, or if it's just the room and the mics.
They probably just have room mics in the room.
Because I had assumed that it's some kind of like plate reverb or chamber reverb that was just added onto the vocal and the guitar, but it might just literally be the room coming into the mics.
And I'm
in which case it's a beautiful sounding room.
Yeah, it is.
If that is like organic reverb,
yeah,
it sounds like a plate.
Yeah,
or like a chamber.
Yeah, and if you just look if you look up pictures of Studio A at Columbia Studio A in Nashville, it is just like a really big, like long room. Like it would be conducive to something like that. So I almost, especially because I think I had read that on this album, Columbia actually allowed him to use his band on a lot of this. Not all of it. I don't think all of it, but a lot of it, I think, is his band. No?
Some. Okay, so this leads me to something. Okay. Yeah. I was curious if any of the names of the musicians on this album looked familiar to you.
Oh, the Jordanaires.
Okay, the Jordanaires, absolutely.
But because of Ween.
Do you recognize the name Hargus Pig Robbins?
Oh.
Or Buddy Spiker?
Okay, were those
or Charlie McCoy?
Oh, Charlie McCoy for sure. But so is this all the Ween band?
These are all musicians that played on 12 Golden Country Greats by Ween.
Wow.
Oh. We were talking in our Ween episode about how they got like the real deal, like the real legit, deal, yeah. the legit Nashville musicians. And about halfway through our listening of this album, I was just looking at the line and I'm like, where have I seen this name before? I'm like, holy shit, dude, half of this band played on Ween.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. The only one I caught was the Jordanaires. I remember that specifically, like, because they're so classic sounding. Like, there's such like a beautiful vocal group.
Yeah, so there's two. The Jordanaires, I think, is kind of more of like a small ensemble, like 3 to 5 voices. But the like big lush shit that's happening is most likely the Nashville edition, which is like kind of more, it's men and women singers, and like probably more like around 10 or even more than 10 singers, you know, in like Texas Lullaby and what's it the Family Reunion. Yeah. God damn, dude. So yeah, to me, this album it's more about the performances than it is about the technical aspect of the production of it, because this is not a technical marvel of sound recording.
No, I agree with you. There's a couple interesting things, like the sound of the room, the players is interesting, and the phaser stuff. Yeah, but I agree with you. Other than that, it is not remarkable for the production aspects.
Yeah.
Not really.
I mean, to the point where like you listen to the drum sound, yeah, everything is close mic'd and everything, because like, you know, this is very clearly like, this is dry. It's straightforward. It just put some mics on a band,
yeah,
and press record, and you get that sound, the sound. It sounds like standard. It
yeah.
sounds like a record.
Sounds
Here you
like
go.
it sounds like Nashville. Like
Yeah,
it does.
and like you can't hear the cymbals, right? There's like moments in some of the songs, like I can't think exactly. It's like either Living on the Run or Rock and Roll Holiday or something, where there's like hits like dun 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 dun, and like you hear the band and you can tell that the drummer is hitting cymbals and crash cymbals on those hits, but like
it's like dead.
You can't hear them.
Yeah,
like they're way in the background, and like your mind just fills in the sound of a cymbal.
Yeah.
But like if you really listen to it, like
there's not a mic
find the cymbal.
Yeah,
you can't hear it.
Yeah,
it's just the band hitting these hits and a
kick
kick drum.
I can recall being in some some Capitol sessions where like there was a Neil Young session I was on once where like his engineer Nico Bolas was there, and he would do this kind of really old school 70s shit where it was just like his rule was like only black microphones could go on the drums. That was like the rule, like no matter what. And even the it would be like a mono overhead, like 421. Like that's the overhead, which like, you know, even if you turn it up, you don't get any definition or detail out of cymbal.
Yeah, a Sennheiser 421. This is a microphone that you could afford, dear listener.
Yeah, they're like a couple $100.
Yeah.
And so but like that's part of like the sound though, you know, and I think that almost leads me further down the path of thinking that there's just two big huge room mics and they just captured everybody sets up, plays in the room. Maybe there's some overdubs with the singers or whatever, but like, you know, it's just set the
no, I'm convinced that these are all recorded in one take. I mean, not that these are the first take, but everything that we're hearing, this is not overdubbed.
No, it's all performed.
This is a band playing live that we're hearing. Yeah. You telling that story of only black microphones reminds me of one of the engineers that taught me my trade was Brent Dannon, who was oh my God, who's the Garth Brooks. He was Garth Brooks's monitor engineer, like his live monitor engineer, all through the 90s and the 80s, like when Garth Brooks was big. And he told me a story of a band, like an outlaw country band, that he used to mix on tour before. And his rule for that one, this is live, not in the studio, but I'm sure this is exactly how it was in the studio, was the rule was only SM57s.
Yeah.
Every single sound source on the stage was an SM57. The kick drum, the snare drum, all the toms, the hi-hat, the overheads, the guitar amps, the bass. How do we get the sound of the bass? Put an SM57 in front of the bass amp. The vocals, SM57s.
You know what's insane about that though is that's not that crazy.
Right. There's a whole corner of music where that's how you do it.
Yeah.
And that's how you get the sound. That's how you get the sound. Yeah. And then by having rules like that, you know, like only black microphones, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. It's so fucking funny. And these guys, I can't remember if I said the name of this band, the SM57 band. They're called the Tennessee Headhunters. And they, you know, it was all in the performance. It wasn't in the technological side of what they're doing. And Brent told me the story of a fan came up to one of the guitar players of Tennessee Headhunters after a show. He's like, "Man, I love that guitar tone that you're getting, man. What do you got between your guitar and your amp?" You know, talking about like, what guitar pedals do you use? What signal processing do you use? You know, and the guy's response was, "A fucking chord."
That's awesome.
Because he just plugs his guitar into his amp and plays.
Right.
and it just sounds badass, you know? And I feel that this album is that ethos. It's that kind of a sound. Like the fact that, David has a phaser on his guitar. That's our big showpiece.
Yeah. You could tell.
Hey, have you checked out the Phaser band? Yeah. They have a phaser, you know?
And you could tell probably for David Allan Coe, that is like, hey, we're pretty big time. Like, guys, have you heard the phaser?
We got a phaser.
We got a phaser.
Yeah, like it's a selling point to potential bookers,
like
right?
That's how he knew he moved up in the world, was like when it was all phaser all the time.
Yeah. And I also too, I one of the reasons why I did want to pick this album is because of the you've been dragging my name through the mud for only picking pristine immaculate albums.
It's true.
Which is true. When you look back to every single album that I've picked on this podcast, they're all like technological marvels.
Here's why I'll say though that you're not completely off the hook with that. Okay. From a technical like mixing recording perspective, yes, you're right. This is probably one of albums you've picked. It is not a technical marvel masterpiece, but that doesn't detract from the album at all. But where it is kind of a technical marvel is in like the playing and like the playing and the arrangements of like the band are like, I'd heard him, David Allan Coe, referred to as progressive country before listening to this. And I kind of didn't understand what the fuck that meant until I put this on. And I was
I see.
And then there was so much, so often while listening to this, my mind kept going to Frank Zappa. I think because I had prog in my brain, but then also I started kind of thinking like, man, he's funny and satirical in the same way that Frank Zappa is. He makes fun of his peers in the same like really cheeky, like tongue-in-cheek, like fun way that Frank Zappa would. Like he like name drops people in the same way that Frank Zappa would. But then also like I think the arrangements, the instrumentation, the playing on this is like super, super sophisticated. Not quite up to like, apostrophe or some crazy Zappa shit like that. But like
It's not truly progressive to that degree. No, it's not.
But from an in a country music context, from an arranging perspective, it's like, okay, he will open a song by quoting "You'll Be Coming Around the Mountain," right? On guitar. And then that leads into like a whole other tune, right? And he'll do that many times. Like there's I forget what it's like an old standard like Fox and something.
Fox on the Run.
Fox on the Run,
like a fox.
Yeah. So he'll inside of his own composition, he'll insert a traditional, right? Like he'll surround a traditional with his own composition, right?
Yes.
Which is I've never heard an artist do something quite like that. It's like the way Dylan would approach a traditional is he would lift the chords whole cloth and the melody and just write amazing new lyrics, right? And then say Bob Dylan wrote this, right? He does that all the time. But what David Allan Coe is doing is like putting a traditional inside of his songs, like his song is like a parentheses around a traditional, right? It's like really, really interesting and
sort of more in a hip hop way.
Sure, yeah,
where he like quotes it inside of his creation.
Yeah.
One last thing that I wanted to say about that in the how it reminds you of Frank Zappa, and that it is also that weird going back and forth between serious and like clownish humor, right? And often in the same exact song. Zappa had that quality of like, whether he's being serious or being goofy depends on like which second of this song you're listening to, because he's doing both. Like the end of Texas Lullaby, this like whole like sweet, soul crushing song. And then at the end, John Denver ending, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
just fucking has the bravado to just like deflate but it doesn't deflate it.
Yeah. I think like
he's like intentionally pooping on his creation that is beautiful, but like he has the confidence to be able to carry that. Like I'm so good that I can carve this out of marble and then break it.
Yeah.
Because I'll carve another one. Go fuck yourself.
That's another quality that Zappa had too, which is like he's so good and he's such a better musician than so many of his contemporaries that like he can blow your mind and make fun of you at the same time, and you still like respect him. Like it's and David Allan Coe does that all over this shit. Like Longhaired Redneck, the song in particular, it's like that whole song is him bragging about how I can sing like Ernest Tubbs. I fucking look like Merle Haggard. I'm just as badass as Merle Haggard. John, I know Johnny Cash, by the way. Johnny Cash got me out of prison. Johnny Cash, the guy who's like most famous for being the prison country singer. Okay. Like he's on, I got him on my fucking, he was my call in prison. Okay. Like he is dick on the table in a very hip hop way.
Yes.
In a very like,
yes. Very hip, right? Like the whole thing is like bragging about yourself.
Yeah. And like, man,
dude, one of my favorite David Allan Coe songs, which is from much later in his career, is a song called "If That Ain't Country, I'll Kiss Your Ass." Have you ever heard this song? Okay, go check out this song. If that ain't country, I'll kiss your ass. And so he's talking, it's like all these details about his life when he was a kid, like his upbringing, his family when he was a kid, and just how fucking country their circumstances were. And then the refrain is I've played the Grand Ole Opry and I met Johnny Cash. If that ain't country, I'll kiss your ass. It's so fucking funny, dude.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's just a big old braggadocio thing. Yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, and the lyrics, that's the last thing that I want to point out on this. And the craftsmanship in this song is just the incredible lyrics that this guy is capable of. Like the line, and Judy, I can't even conjure up your picture in my mind today. In Revenge. Like how that captures just like the futility of this guy trading his life for like a fleeting infatuation with a girl. You know?
Yeah.
Like everything that I gave, I ruined my life for. Like, I can't even remember what you look like.
Yeah.
It's so specific and like that's like Shakespeare shit.
Right, it's a very specific kind of
oh my god
sharp pain.
Yeah, and one that I've never felt. Like I have no life experience that even closely resembles that.
But you can imagine.
But right, I can imagine it. It's such good writing that I can vicariously experience it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite lines on this album, from Living on the Run, and he says, "The rain must have known I'd be coming this way." Like, you know, my lot in life is so low down. I have such a bad luck life. Like,
rain just falls from everywhere.
Yeah, the only reason why it's raining is because the rain knew that I would be here.
Yeah.
That's why it's raining here. If I wasn't standing here, it wouldn't be raining.
Right.
You know, like it's so fucking poetic. I don't know.
It made a lot of sense to me when I found out that he wrote for John Prine. Because John Prine is also known for those just like those like biting, like lyrical, like kind of witticisms. And now I'm going back and I'm like, is that John Prine song that I love? Is that actually a David Allan Coe song? Because there's a chance that it was.
So the truth is that country music, it has a wealth of songwriters like this.
Yeah.
Right. David Allan Coe is not unique in country music to having this ability. And you know, it's got many, many, many great, and I think I've talked about this even on this podcast before about how country. Oh yeah, it was in the Isaac Hayes um episode when we were talking about the difference between Stax and Motown, right? The difference between Southern music and Northern music, where music from the South, the lyrics are super specific. And the music from the rest of the country, the lyrics are in general, you know, oh baby, you're so great.
Right.
You know, like, wow, I really miss you. Okay. Whereas lyrics from the South would say like, I can't even conjure up your face in my mind.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like, okay, it's on another level of that. So. Standout songs. Okay, go ahead and do what we were going to do the whole time, Nate.
Okay.
Clearly.
So let's see here.
I have two standouts that are not my favorite or best.
I have two. Okay, no, I have three. Okay. Spotlight.
Spotlight is one of my standout songs.
Love that tune.
Such a good song.
Yeah. What is the line in that? What is the lyric in that? It's like, you know, forget the flashbulbs. Too many heroes are dead.
Yeah, it's let's see. I think I have it right here. Don't waste your time or your flashbulbs. Too many heroes are dead.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about that line. It's really profound. It's like no sense in like taking no sense in like canonizing me. Like all the good ones are dead. Like don't fucking waste your time on me, or like,
yeah,
you know, it's
yeah, I think that really is like the one of the themes of the song, and which what makes it such a good song is not just one theme.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fleetingness, the transitory, the temporary nature of me being here, of my supposed stardom, of like me being a big deal because I'm on a stage, like it's really big picture. It's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's stood out to me in an album and from a guy who's he wears so much bravado and braggadocious on his sleeve. That's like almost another level of bragging because it feels so like true and like it's coming from such an authentic place where he's like, that is such like a poignant thought to have of like in this moment where he's blowing up and that's clearly something that is important to him. In that moment, he's reflecting about how so many of his heroes are dead. And it's like, damn, fuck.
Yeah.
It's really remarkable. Like just instantly from someone at this point in their career, who clearly like wants fame, but like, is able, even as the kind of person that he is able to acknowledge how fleeting and unimportant it is.
And like you say, which I had never considered before you said it right now, which is it has more meaning when it's coming from him, when it's coming from someone with so much bravado, like an artist, you know, like if Morrissey were to sing that. Well, I maybe I don't know enough about Morrissey, but my understanding of him as a non-guy who's super into him is that he complains a lot, right? He's always kind of looking at glass half empty shit, right? So if he were to sing about that, it'd be like, okay, big surprise. But when it's Mr. Fuck you, I'm the greatest that will ever live. All other singers are not as good of singers as me. All other songwriters wish they could write songs like me. If he says it, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Thought provoking.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
My my other two, I don't have like a whole lot to say about them, but they were ones that stood out to me that I enjoyed. I think you'll probably pick this one too. Texas Lullaby. I really loved Texas Lullaby.
That's my other standout.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it. Well,
I fucking love this song. I think all of our picks might be exactly the same. I'm getting that feeling. Favorite, best, standouts. I think we may have the exact same. So
I think so. But the only other one, I'll get it out of the way, that I thought was notable was Freeborn Ramblin' Man, just because it's like this obvious like Dickie Betts, Allman Brothers rip in the beginning. It's like very overt, but it's a very like it's a very loving nod. Like you can tell he's like,
it's homage.
It's an homage. Like he's like, I love this dude. It's like, because like on this album, a lot of times when he references someone on this album, like John Denver or Ernest Tubbs or fucking even Merle Haggard or Waylon Jennings, it's like there is a certain amount of like, fuck you, dude. Like maybe not fuck you, but like
challenge.
Yeah, it is challenging the other songwriter or performer, or it is just like he's
provoking.
Yeah, he's like I know what you're doing. Like I see it and I can get inside it and figure it out and watch. I'll do it better than you, right?
John Denver ending. Yeah,
yeah. And I feel that way about the Ernest Tubb thing too. The Ernest Tubb thing is every time it happens, it's my favorite thing on the whole album, and it makes me laugh every time because I love Ernest Tubb, but I'm like, he got you, bitch.
Yeah,
like he got
I can sing all them songs about Texas. Yeah.
But with the Freeborn Ram, it's notable because it feels like a tip of the cap more so than like a kind of provocative, like making fun of type of nod. But anyway, that's all I have to really say about that one. But
okay, Texas Lullaby.
Lullaby.
Let's get back to this song. Yeah. Why did you pick that song?
I think again, it's like he mentions at the top that he can sing all the songs about Texas in a very joking, satirical way. But then
that's a good point.
But then he literally proceeds
to
he literally, like, one of the best songs on the record is like this like prototypically classic, very Texas. I don't know if you'd call this a ballad, but
he's not even from Texas.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he is like.
Yeah,
he's like an amazing like rapper in that sense, like Eminem would do something like this, you know?
Right. I'm so good that I can just hop between styles. I can do your style, your flow better than you can.
Yeah,
and it's not even my flow.
Right. Yeah. Not even from there.
Yeah, man. Right. Yeah. I can do the dirty South thing better than someone from the South. I can do the Midwest fast thing better than anybody. Well, I mean, Eminem actually is from Midwest, but yeah, it's just such a beautiful song, and it's so fascinating because when you know about his life story, you know this is not true to his life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his daddy didn't sing a Texas lullaby, yippee-yi little doggy.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it doesn't need to be true to be that beautiful. You know, he's just like playing a character.
Yeah.
And
it's the hallmark
of vocal harmonies.
It's the hallmark of a good storyteller, I think. It's like, you know, like a good author, dude, can investigate any time period and envelop himself and wrap himself or herself in it and write from the perspective of that time period or person or whatever, even if it's like completely removed. You know, it's just like a hallmark quality of someone who's good at writing. Like he's just good at writing. It's just that he has that extra thing that is more uncommon, I think, with good writers, which is that he can also do that with music. It's not just with words that he can do that.
Yeah, isn't that interesting how that's like less common with music? Well, actually, hang on. Maybe it's not big. I think it's just that it's less like
it's harder to pass it authentically.
it's less accepted to do that in music.
Yeah.
Right? It's just as often done. It's just that when someone finds out that you've been making music that isn't true to your actual life story, people will like, that could like hurt your reputation.
I think it's easy to hear it too. And with him, it sounds it's like invisible. Like you don't.
Oh, I see.
In that moment, if I heard that song in a vacuum, I'm like, okay, is this guy from Texas? Like it sounds like
I can't tell.
Yeah.
I don't know the difference.
Whereas like, you know, oftentimes you know, we hear this in reggae all the time. Like people play reggae or ska or something, and it's like they're trying to do a style and maybe they're doing it really well, but like you can hear it. Like
that's right. I don't even need to see them. I don't need to ask who they are. I know that they're not from Jamaica.
Yeah, I just know it. Whereas like with this guy, it's like, damn, you really got inside that form and in that style, and like you're wearing it like a costume in a way that is like totally invisible to me, the listener, which is a really impressive thing to do as a musician.
Yeah. And I just really love this song on this record because it's part of the 1-2 punch of Revenge into Texas Lullaby.
Totally.
Like in the 3 months between between last episode and this one, I've listened to this album maybe 9 or 10,000 times. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Point is a lot of times.
Yeah.
And that is the spot that I would navigate to so many times, the majority of the times, just like, you know, I'm like walking into the grocery store or something. I'm just going to listen to Revenge in Texas a little bit real quick before I go back to my other podcasts that I was listening to.
Yeah.
You know, holy shit. Beautiful song.
Yeah. So we have the same standout songs.
Yes.
And I think Revenge would be both of our kind of like asterisks, like and also Revenge is a standout. Unless that's you guys.
I only picked out two actual in my standout was Texas Lullaby and Spotlight.
Okay.
Okay, are we ready to go to favorite best?
Yeah, let's do favorite best now.
Okay.
So mine's simple because my favorite best is one song, and that is Longhaired Redneck.
Longhaired Redneck. Okay.
It is okay. Look, like I said before, there's not really a dud on this record. I think all the songs are good to great. Like the only ones I possibly wasn't super into was maybe Rock and Roll Holiday, but I wouldn't even go that far. And maybe
it's a good song.
Good song.
I think the worst qualities that some of the songs have on this record is some of them are not very memorable.
That's what it is.
They're good.
That's what it is.
They're not very memorable.
Rock and Roll Holiday is probably the least memorable for me.
Yep.
And maybe Dakota the Dancing Bear, I think is a good song. It's not quite as like.
I know you. You're David Allan Coe, and that's Arno Guthrie, the songer that sings country and western music. Dude, that whole thing.
It's fun.
There was another bear over there shooting up heroin. She didn't have a bra on. That whole thing is so fucking funny, dude.
It's super funny.
We got down off our motorcycles, which is another character, by the way, because like if you don't know anything about David Allan Coe, you might think that this is a guy who pronounces the word
motorcycles,
motorcycles.
Yeah,
but he doesn't really. He's in character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I derailed what you were saying.
No, you're good because you said it better than I could. Which is that the worst thing you could say about the quote unquote worst songs on this record is just that they're not as memorable as the really good songs. And there are, I would say 8 out of the 10 songs are memorable and good to great. But I think Longhaired Redneck stands just above all of the songs in that it is like an A+ song. Like
it's my pick for the best. It's clearly the best song. This album is that song and the others.
Yeah. And I love it. I love it because it's the thesis statement. If you didn't know anything about David Allan Coe or this record, it lays it all out. It does all these tricks. It has all these qualities. It's like it has these like
it explains to you who is singing to you.
Yes.
Like that song does such a good job of like, you now understand who this guy is.
Yes, it is perfect.
He ain't read the signs that say I've been to prison. Someone better warn him before I knock him off his chair.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
wow, interesting.
It outlines the grudge he has against everybody, his perceived like lacking, in standing amongst his peers and his community, while at the same time, while standing on the shoulders of these giants of like Hank Williams and Ernest Tubbs, also kind of denigrating them and talking about how easy it is to just fucking do their whole catalog and do their whole thing. Like you understand this guy who at the same time is a habitual victim, while also has kind of a messiah complex at the same time.
Totally.
And also is funny. And also that song does all these like amazing, like very, progressive country things in it that we kind of outlined earlier, where like, it'll stop and like change tempo and feel on a dime. And like, it's the best song on the record, like for sure.
It is.
And it's also for all those reasons my favorite, because it is, if you don't know David Allan Coe, if you never listen to any David Allan Coe ever, just listen to this one and you'll get everything we're saying in this episode.
That's right. This is the one song of his that you have to hear. Yeah.
Anyway, so how about you? What's your favorite best?
My favorite song on this album is Revenge.
I thought you were going to say that. And I think that's a good pick. I think it's the only one that stands up to Longhaired Redneck as far as like quality goes. Like it's the only one I would put like kind of neck and neck. Maybe Texas Lullaby.
Dude, this song is so fucking genius, man. I had never heard it before. When I picked this album and went into it, I had heard the song Longhaired Redneck about 1 million times. So, I did a lot of re-listens to it, but not as many, because I have like every note of that song memorized already, And so as I was listening through the rest of it, sort of like I said in the beginning, you hear the second song, She's Got Me Where She Wants Me, which I feel is another one of the ones that is not very memorable. And it's fine. It's a good song. But then Revenge played, and like partway through the song, when you start to understand what this is, and you start to understand that the drums are never going to come in. And it's only going to be voices and a guitar. And hearing the lyrics, there's just this like religious experience for me. I'm like, oh my God. Like, this is special. This is art right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the lyrics, man, he achieves like the effect of watching a movie. Because the lyrics in the song are like visual. They evoke a location, like you can picture the room, the set. You can picture the characters and where they're standing and what they're saying, and the plot points that would move through a story that is like a movie of what's happening, right? So like, there's the obvious ones in the beginning. I feel weary now, a man, Judy, I feel weary now, older than a man of 33. The gates of hell opened up. After 20 years, the warden says I'm free. So, okay, you can picture, he mentions the gates. You can picture a man walking out of prison. Revenge was all I wanted when I killed the man that took your life that day. You can just like imagine like the rain and the younger flashback, the younger version of this man. You can picture the weapon that he used to get what the guy looked like, right? The man that took your life that day. Also, the guy that he killed Judy.
Right.
Okay. This is 3 lines, and already we have like the first couple episodes of a Netflix series.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the economy of words, while also being able to get all that through is like really remarkable for a writer.
The lines, Lord knows you weren't a lady, and the witnesses all swore you was to blame. So now you're picturing the process of the detectives investigating what happened, because there were witnesses, there were interviews, and there were what the people said about Judy. And then that reminds you of all the other times of Judy's life where she was in the town and the types of things that she would have to do to make these witnesses say that she was no lady, right, and that she was to blame in this altercation that resulted in this guy killing her.
Yeah.
Right.
Where, you know, people like what type of person would she have to be where others would blame her for her own death, right?
Exactly. What did she do to that guy that would make other people tell the cops, no, dude, Judy started it?
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Or Judy had it coming.
Or Judy had it coming. Then the jury all agreed you knew no shame. Now you're standing in the courtroom. You're imagining the protagonist standing in the defendant's box and the jury, like, what they have to say. You can see the judge, you can see the lawyers, you can see the stenographer. Like, it's fucking like different. This is all going on in 7 lines of lyrics. There's 2.5 verses, and the song is over in less than 2.5 minutes. And I haven't even gotten to the part where now he's laying flowers on her grave, and he can't recall. He's now an older man who's finding that he can't recall what her face looks like, and he regrets. But dude, it's so dense. I can't think of another song
I think it's
that I know of that has this much narrative information in so few words. It's incredible.
I think it's the obvious one that is right up there with Longhaired Redneck for me.
Can you tell that I like this song?
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah,
and you're right. You're right. You've kind of sold me on possibly being the best song.
Right? Yeah. Now that I'm saying, I'm like, should I swap it? It's definitely my favorite. I'm like, do I think it's the best? No, Longhaired Redneck is the best. It has the most craftsmanship. It has even more craftsmanship than this.
It shows off even more tools in his Swiss Army knife, I think.
Yeah, Longhaired Redneck is more diverse. It shows off more tools. Yeah. Revenge is him honing in on like
it's
one
It's
tool.
Like a chef's knife.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, I love how in that 2-song little suite there of Revenge and Texas Lullaby, how the drums just go away.
Yeah.
For 2 songs, there's no drums.
He does that a lot.
There's harmonies. And only, so you get Revenge that also has no bass. And then Texas Lullaby begins and gets through the whole first verse, also with no drums or bass. And it sort of lulls you into this feeling of like, okay, maybe there's just no bass part. There's no low end information for a while. Mm. And then, but as the first yippee-yi little doggy comes in, the bass enters and there's this whole, now all the sub information is there and it hits your body. It has like an emotional effect. It lifts. There's vocal harmony like there was in Revenge, but there's more voices. There's now female voices involved. It's fucking,
it's kind of what I was
genius, dude. It's so good.
It's kind of what I was trying to highlight earlier, which is that like, honestly, one of the bigger standout elements of the album is the arranging.
Yeah.
The way the band and the players and the instrumentation is used is amazing on this record. It's really well thought out. It's very thoughtful. It's very intentional, and it's very like effective for all the in that song. The way you illustrated the way it comes in and out like that. It's like that record. This record has that all over the place, where it's just really, really thoughtful arrangement decisions. And it makes me wonder if that was him or if that was studio guy.
I was just thinking that exact same thing, man. It's like
you can't really tell. It's hard.
Was he the arranger? Yeah. It's very obscured. Yeah. Like so much of his life, like whether or not he actually did kill someone in prison, whether or not he actually was on death row. Because the reality of it is like at that time and place, in that era, in that part of the world, even the official records are not really that. It's not the gospel truth of what actually happened in those facilities.
That was his that was his rebuke of the Bureau of Prisons saying we don't have a record of this. And his very eloquent way of putting it was like, as with many things that happened inside prisons, there aren't always official records.
Yeah.
I'm like, and like
lots of stuff happened where there's no official
where there's
record.
no paper trail, dude.
Yeah. Right. Anyone who's seen Shawshank Redemption can understand that, right?
Yeah. And you know what's funny is like when I was watching the documentary and it was like David Allan Coe says he was on death row and says he killed a guy. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. No wonder he has such a crazy reputation. And then it's like right after that, it's like the Bureau of Prisons says this is all bullshit. And I'm like, oh, he's full of shit. And then right after that, he's like, well, there's really not a paper trail for like tons of shit. And then I was like, dude, I don't know.
It's like,
maybe he did then. I don't know. Like I'm like, it was honestly the perfect rebuke of what they said, because I'm like, it's true.
Yeah, this documentary that you're talking about, it's
I'll link to it.
Okay, yeah. It's called it's just to say it out loud if you want to go. It's called The Mysterious Rhinestone Cowboy.
Yeah. It's on YouTube. It's free. It's easy to find. It's good stuff. All right. Before we go to our final thoughts, let's quickly. Do you have a hot take about David Allan Coe, this album specifically? Curious if you do. If you don't, it's okay.
I said one at the very beginning, and now I've had too many hard seltzers, and I can't. I've had too many Kirkland brand hard seltzers. I can't even remember what my hot take was.
I've got one.
Okay.
I'm a little bit stealing this from a Reddit thread that I saw. And I wish I could like link to it. I'm not gonna remember. I'll try to find it if I can. I'll link to it. But like it was from a couple years ago, and people were talking about Outlaw Country, and they were talking about there's a guy posting about like, hey, should I just inherited like it was like 10 different David Allan Coe records, right? And he's like, I'm trying to get into David Allan Coe, but I just he's like, maybe his reputation is like kind of, I'm a little prejudiced against him because of some of the things I've heard him say and like the slurs and all that kind of stuff. So I think because of that, it's making it a little hard for me to get into him. And one of the top comments was basically like, fair if you don't like him for that reason. But for me, I don't like him because I think he's kind of a tryhard. And I wouldn't necessarily call him a tryhard, but what it is he is really involved in getting you invested in his mythos.
Yes.
He really desperately wants you to buy in to the myth, the man, the legend of David Allan Coe. Like this album, like earlier when I said it sounds autobiographical, it is autobiographical from the perspective of the character of David Allan Coe. I like David Allan Coe.
The mythos, yeah.
It is an autobiography of his idealized mythology of himself. I don't necessarily buy all this shit. I mean, it's like everybody around him just like was like, dude, he was so full of shit. Like
right, yeah. Like a lot of people, and even people who were his friends, they're like, it's a very it's a theme to hear about him. Like one of them is like, well, yeah, I was one of his friends, but like I was like the only one who could stand being around him.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of the other people, basically like none of my other friends wanted to hang out with him.
Yeah.
And and just that he's so fucking intense, man. I would not enjoy hanging out with him.
No way. And like
he's too intense, he's too much, and like you said, I think you articulated it really well, is that he's so singularly obsessed with getting you in on his track, right?
Yeah. Like
this whole conversation has got to be you got to agree with what I'm trying to set up here,
what I'm selling,
what I'm trying to establish here.
Yeah. Like
there was just be exhausting, dude.
Yeah, totally. Like I saw some concert footage. It was like later period concert footage, like 2000s, 2010s maybe. And he's sitting on stage and he's like, he's just reading in front of a crowd of people, a laundry list of just like I never heard any writers write about how I'm one of the best. I never heard any writers write about how like I was better than Willie Nelson. No magazine writers ever wrote about how this album was the best. And it was just like, he just wouldn't stop. And I'm like, he couldn't get over that. Like you were supposed to love me. You were supposed to lionize me. You were supposed to canonize me. And even though I actually agree with them, like, you're right, dude, they stiffed you. Like they did. They do the whole country scene like went out of their way to fuck you, but like it's because you're an asshole. Like,
you know who he is? He's Walter, dude.
Yeah.
He's Walter from The Big Lebowski. It's like, no, you're not wrong. You're just an asshole.
Yeah, you're just an asshole, dude. And like, that's what happens to assholes. Like, even if you're good, man, it's like people will write you off because you suck, dude. Like,
am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Like, okay, a quick analogy. Like, I'm a huge San Francisco Giants fan. Okay, Barry Bonds, in my opinion, greatest player to ever pick up a baseball bat. Okay, he is the greatest baseball player who ever lived. Better than Ohtani, better than Babe Ruth. I don't care what anyone says. He's the best baseball player. He's the best baseball player. But guess what?
We found our hot take for the episode.
But guess what? Guess what?
What?
The reason he's never going to go into the Hall of Fame has nothing to do with steroids. It has everything to do with the fact that when he was in the middle of his great run as an athlete, he bitched and moaned and yelled at the press, and yelled that the press didn't love him enough and wasn't kind enough to him. And he was an asshole. He was a fucking asshole. And that is really why there are steroid users in the Hall of Fame right now who got caught using steroids, right? And they use steroids, and they're in the Hall of Fame right now. Barry Bonds, way better than any of those players, but he will never go in. And it's not because of fucking steroids. They will say that, but the truth is he's just a fucking asshole. That's why he's not going in, man. And it's like, you got to understand who butters your fucking bread, dude. Especially if that's Willie Nelson, you know, and Waylon Jennings. Like, you can't snipe at these guys, you know, even if they forgive you, their fans won't, and the press won't, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like we're coming full circle here, because out of all the people to wear that outlaw country brand, which ended up becoming mainstream and which ended up becoming false, just a wrapper to put on something to market it. Unlike all those other guys, David Allan Coe actually was an outlaw who lived. He actually did grow up in prison.
Yeah.
You know,
he was a biker gang member.
And I mean, I really seriously, I don't mean anything bad about people who have that background, but those of you who have people like that in your life and know people like that and who are people like that, you know what I'm talking about. Like, there is a way that they are and behave.
Right.
And he couldn't not be who he was, you know, and he's in an industry that is based on relationships.
Yeah.
The music industry is based on relationships, and the music industry is
very unforgiving.
And it's also very false, man. And I don't mean that in a bad way, really. Literally, I'm not like saying that that's a bad thing. It's just the way that it is. We're all supposed to pretend like we're cooler than we really are. The music industry is full of people who are fucking nerds. We're music nerds. We're band geeks. We're people who have dedicated this certain amount of time to learn to play an instrument to this certain degree to be able to do all this shit. And we're supposed to let people think that we're fucking cool and that we're badasses and that we're outlaws. And 99% of the people in the music industry are not actually that. And when you hang out with us, what the conversation that goes on in the green room is we're talking about video games and shit. You know, we're talking about like, oh, dude, did you see Squid Games and shit? You know, it's normal. It's not badass. And David Allan Coe actually is badass. And it rubs them the wrong way. It rubs nerds the wrong way. We can't hang with it. He's too intense for us. People who actually did grow up in prison are too, like, we can't handle it. We're too soft for them, you know?
At the same time, though, I can only imagine being like a Waylon Jennings or a Chris Christopherson in the 70s or 80s. And you got this guy calling you out using his fake persona to call out you being fake. And it's, I can only imagine like Chris Christopherson or somebody calling him and just be like, motherfucker, of course it's a persona.
Yeah.
Like,
what are you doing?
Why are you trying to fuck up our bag? You're trying to fuck up the bag right now, dude. Why? Like, Jesus.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's like a professional wrestler not keeping kayfabe or something.
Yeah. It's crazy because I looked up kind of like what the remainder of his life after this has been like. And like, you know, he had really big success, kind of come back in the 80s. But like he lost all of his money. Like,
really?
Yeah. At one point the IRS sent him a tax bill for like $1 million and it just absolutely wiped him out. So he's just like, he lives off of all the like album sales that he gets like from his website.
I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So
bummer, dude.
I don't know what to tell you, but he's a good songwriter. Give him a chance. Some of the rhetoric is inflammatory, but trust us.
Okay. That's my final thought. What an artist, man.
Yeah.
God damn. What a fucking gifted creator, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for indulging me in this pick. I know this is not the one that you were the most excited about when I told you what it was.
I wasn't. I was actually very scared is what I was.
I could tell your reaction to it. I could tell you were like wanting to tell me like, no, let's.
My chief reaction being not doing the podcast for 3 months.
Oh, is that why we took a break?
No.
Because you didn't want to talk about this artist. Okay.
No, it's not why.
That explains it. No, that did enter my mind actually for a while there. That partway through,
I was like
month 2. I was like, I wonder if me picking this album has just put Nate off the whole concept of the podcast, and he just doesn't want to do it anymore.
No. But I wasn't looking forward to it. No, but you know what? I loved it. I thought it was a great record, and it was honestly an exceptional pick. It was an exception.
Thank you.
Great record, and just an absolute perfect personality to showcase on this show. Like, I mean, like, listen, we could talk about him all night, I feel like. So, couple just very, very quick housekeeping things, like probably a few changes to the Patreon. The Patreon is mainly going to be just for ad-free episodes. I've kind of struggled with some of the workload doing the bonus episodes and the blog and like all the stuff I'm doing for Escape Hatch Records. I'm basically running all their social media. And now we're starting to book shows and we're trying to get back into making music, me and Brandon. So like, the Patreon, until we start getting more patrons over there, we're gonna do this show every other week, just like it normally is. The normal show is gonna stay exactly the same as it's been getting delivered to you wherever you're listening to it. But we're gonna pull back on the Patreon a little bit. We would still really appreciate your support over there because we're trying to, you know, even though we're gonna pull back on some of the stuff that's coming up over there, we're trying to shore that up by doing more music and make more records and do all that kind of other stuff that we like to do outside the podcast. So
yeah, get back to our bread and butter, which is being musicians, which is what we're getting back to work doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. Yeah. And the podcast was always supposed to be like a side thing. It just happens to be really fun. And we kind of, we're realizing what's working for us. And I think it's just doing the main show, which is the most fun anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of the main show, would you like to hear next week's pick?
Oh my God, I forgot that this is part of it. Next album pick
Yeah. I don't want to tell you the ones I almost picked because I absolutely want to pick those.
Because you're going to pick them in the future.
I'm going to pick, I think they'll probably be the next ones I pick. Like, but you inspired me in the middle of this episode to pick an album that I was going to put way off on the back burner. Much like your pick tonight, I'm gonna do a similar kind of shot in the dark pick where it's like there's one song I know from this record that is awesome. It's so great. I love it. It's one of my favorite tunes that I've heard, that I've kind of discovered in the last few years. It's an album that is like extremely lauded. It is very, very well known. It kind of will highlight a new scene for us that I think that we haven't really dove into, that I think will be interesting.
The anticipation. I can cut my anticipation with a knife right now.
Yeah. And it's by kind of just like one of the most enigmatic, striking, definitely just visually like one of the most unbelievable looking, beautiful people who's ever kind of made records, in my opinion.
Are you choosing my solo EP?
Okay, and since you were brave with this David Allan Coe pick, I'm going to be brave as well. I'm going to pick a album that I really want to get into. I like want to get into this one, so we're going to get it. We're going to dive into it together, me and Brandon, and as a show. And the album is Night Clubbing by Grace Jones.
By Grace Jones.
I've never listened to the whole record, but it has been like on my to-do list literally for years of like, man, I can't wait to dive into this.
Wow, dude.
I never have. So we're going to do Night Clubbing by Grace Jones.
Going back to making a connection to our Gregory Isaacs Night Nurse episode, right? Because this was recorded at Compass Point Studios, wasn't it?
Awesome. Yeah. And hey,
were you aware of that? Did you know that?
I wasn't actually. That's great.
This was recorded at Compass Point. Awesome. Cool.
Also, did you see there's a David Allan Coe record called Compass Point?
Yes, and it was recorded at Compass Point. Yes. And I listened to some of it to try to hear the similarity to Night Nurse. And
so just remember, we are a band. We are called Black Market Dub. We're on Bandcamp at blackmarketdub.bandcamp.com. If you want to support us over there, we would really appreciate it. We have vinyl, other stuff. We're going to soon be coming out with new music as soon as we start on it, and then make it and then produce it for a long time. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/blackmarketdub. We're going to still get cool stuff over there. Mainly ad-free episodes of the show, and other things, and we'll still
other things. It's just not on a regular schedule for the time being.
And we're still absolutely going to do bonus episodes. It's just going to be like more. It'll be more of an actual bonus, like a special occasion bonus thing, like kind of how we're planning it. But
we love you, supporters and patrons, and thank you for listening and supporting us.
Also, escapepatchrecords.com. Definitely escapepatchrecords.com. You can find all kinds of good stuff over there. Anyway, Brandon, do you have any closing David Allan Coe-isms for us?
I do. Everyone's lying about living. Everyone's living a lie. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
We